how good is your armor?
Why? Oh, oh.
Oh no.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Decidedly Vanilla, Season 5, Episode number 4. I'm over here by my base, and I'm your host, BJW. It's going. I'm here in the water. We are heading over here to our soon-to-be... Let's see if I can do this in F5 mode. Can I do it? I bet I can't do it very well. I'm going to get out of F5 mode or I'm going to be sorry. Let's see if we can get up here. There we go. That wasn't too bad. We're over here where I was going to do my drowned farm so I can get tridents from it up here in the sky. But because Nash did it, I'm not going to do another one. But I do need to convert this into something. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to make a mob farm up in here. Kind of a proper mob farm, but it's a different design. One of my own. Of course, it's based on all the ones that have been done by others, but it's a little bit different design. And I had one last year that was also a different design. I've got a different one that's going to be better. But before we do that, oh yeah, the other thing I'm going to do is down here I need a sugarcane farm, because now that I have Elytra, I need lots of sugarcane, and I can either buy it or I can make my own. So I'm going to do one down here underneath it, so that when I AFK, it's making me some sugarcane while I'm getting me some drops. And then I can tie the whole system together in some sort of underground storage system, and then this can be my first sort of example build of what I was talking about a couple episodes out in here in terms of this old ancient alien city that has this new build inside of it. So I have an idea, but first, before I do that, I've got this. This is a gift for someone here on the server, one of our newest members who is online right now, Daphne Elaine. She's here, and I've got this. I'm going to give this to her because last episode I saw her release today, or episode number 2, which if you haven't seen, please go check it out. Look at the card up in the corner. She needed a bow, and she needed some nautilus shells, and so I thought, let's give her some nautilus shells, give her some bow, and I thought I'd go ahead and give her some shields. And because this is a pretty good bow, I thought about naming it, but I'll let her name it. It's got infinity on it, so I'm just going to give her 2 arrows because that should be all she should ever possibly need. So I'm going to give her a quick call on Discord and see if she's willing to meet up over at her base. And so let's head over there and see what Daphne is up to. Now, if you guys have gone and seen that second episode that Daphne put out, this is her little, what would you call this? Her entrance to her base here through the nether. So this is her portal, and this is really very cool. A little nervous about not having a top on it, but I can't complain compared to mine, that's for sure. But this looks great. This is really nicely done. Nicely done, Daphne. Let's go in here and see if she is hanging out.
Hello.
Oh. Hey, Daphne, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Hey, welcome to the server. It's great to have you here.
Hey, thanks. I am happy to be here. It's exciting.
Yep, we got all kinds of new people here. We started last year. We didn't have that many people that were that active, so it's really great to have so many great creators being active on here. So I saw in your last episode that was released today that you were missing a bow or didn't have a bow yet.
Yeah, sadly, I don't have a bow.
Well, I have an AFK fish farm, I think, like everybody else on the server, and I had a lot of bows in there. So I thought what I would do with the Ender is take all these bows and create something that would be a little bit of a gift for you, and then on top of it, I've been to the end, and I thought you could probably use a shulker box, and then there's also another little something in there for you. So go ahead and open that up. That's for you.
The gift? Wow, the new girl gets a gift. Awesome. Let's see. Some shields, a bow, and some nautilus shells.
Yeah, you needed one of those.
Awesome! Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, you have to tell me if that how that bow works.
Oh.
I think it's a pretty good bow, but I don't know.
Huh. Let's see. I actually have some arrows, or is it an infinity bow?
Yeah, it's an infinity bow.
Yeah.
That's why I'll give you 2 arrows.
I mean, there's. I want to test this out. Like, what would be the best way to test this out? Do you think?
I don't know. Maybe if we wait until night, maybe there's something will show up over there. I don't know.
Or how about how good is your armor?
Why? You're not gonna test my armor, are you?
Maybe. Hey, BJ, did you see that thing on the tree over there?
Up there?
Yeah.
What? Oh no. Oh,
Oh no. Oh no.
well, that did not go as planned. I'm just kidding. It's great to have Daphne on the server. She is an amazing build. Please go check out her channel. Amazing build? Yeah, amazing builder. Anyway, here we are at Los Pollos Hermanos, and as you can see, I've pretty much finished the interior. There's maybe a couple of tweaks I still have to make, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I think there's some lighting issues in here, perhaps, so I'll add a couple lights up in here. I need to go to the end and get some glowstone to do that. But the one thing from Mythical Sausage's last video that I found is that without an ender chest here, people might not be able to pull out diamonds and make payments. So forcing them to have to go someplace else to get their ender chest is not a good idea. That's not very good business practices. So the first thing I need to do is go get some end chests. I have one, but I need that chest for my next build that we're going to be working on today, rather than putting it over here. So I need to go buy a couple of extras. So we're going to go here to the end is nigh. This is Silence, slightly out of place, but still very cool build. Because he just took an end boat and put it in here, which makes total sense for an end shop. And in here he does have a couple of ender chests for sale. 1 diamond for 2, which I think is a great deal compared to some of the prices Awooga on this server. And I'm kidding. His prices are actually very reasonable for the Prismarine store. But I need a diamond. As you can see, I do already have an ender chest in there, but I need that one. And plus, with the price for these guys, I think that's incredibly fair, considering you need 8 obsidian and an ender eye for that, which is not necessarily difficult or easy to get when you have to go to the end and get the blaze rods and all that happy jazz. So, actually, I'm going to leave that out of the bling box, because I'm going to go put these in the other store. No, I don't want to put that back in there. Yeah, let's put my bling box back in the chest there. That's not a good idea. All right, let's see if I can actually get off the ship. I have a really prime elytra launcher. Oh, that's a good idea. Too bad I don't have my elytra on. So it's really easy to make it from the other direction getting on. He has this little parkour course. I mean, not really, but if you run full speed and land on this one, jump off right on that edge and land on here, it's pretty easy. Going the other direction, I found I have a tendency to fall. So I'm going to try it on that one right there. See if I can get to this one. Bingo. All right. I got it both directions now. All right, so let's go over here and drop our ender chest in so that next time Mythical comes by, he can get himself some chicken a little bit easier. I was going to put 2 in here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 1 in kind of a visible spot, which I think will be right there. I need to integrate it a little bit better, but so when I come through and I retrofit in some lights, I'll find a better spot for that. I was thinking maybe right here. Well, you know what? That's actually a much better spot, because then you can talk to Gus Fring, you can pay over the counter, even better. So I'm going to take this one back, and now I've got those. So, this is done. This is done for now. So, DV members, come get your chicken. I think we got, pretty good chicken going on here. That's only a couple days worth. We should have that thing completely stocked relatively short order. But, now we're going to go over to what our next build is going to be today. So, let's head over there, and I'll explain what's going on. Alright, we're here at the build site for kind of the north end of Spawn Island here. If we head that way quite a ways, takes me to my base. But I'm purposefully not turning around, because I did a little bit of layout work and then actually put it on just a little bit of detail on some of the build behind me. So I'm going to go up, there's a tree kind of to my left over here I'm going to fly up onto. If I can keep from killing myself. A little while ago I tried to take off with the rockets. With the lag on the server, elytra and rockets don't go together very well. So hopefully... Is it going to work? Come on. This is actually how I died once in the end, because the elytra did not work. There we go. That gets us up off the ground a little bit. There's Cirque's build right there. Hopefully I'm not giving anything away. Sorry if I am. This is probably going to be out before I've released my episode. And here's Germsy's build right there. Let's see if I can get up on top of this tree. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to go around. Besides, it's always fun to fly around with the elytra, as long as it works. But yeah, there's Cirque's build again and Germsy, and we're going to land right here. Oh, phew, almost fell off. There's the edge of the central part of Spawn Island right here. This is all part of the island that you can kind of see. There's the enchanting building right there that I think Papa did, and there is the Prismarine shop from Awooga, and just out of the render distance right there is a new building from Fwip that just went in today for logs. So it's probably a good thing I can't see it, because that'd be spoiling his video coming out. But this is my little contribution to Spawn right now, or at least the beginnings of it anyway. And as I mentioned earlier, I've done a fair amount of layout, just trying to get some building spaces in. And, you know, actually Pix brought this up on the division once in kind of a conversation he and I had. What would happen if you actually laid out the outdoor spaces first and built buildings around them? So there was a little bit of that, of trying to create kind of a central courtyard space and some little bits off that go onto a deck that I'll show. The other side of that, there's actually space underneath this. But maybe I'll show later in this episode or in the next one. I'm not sure yet. But the key to this one is the Skellie spawner down there. There's the bubble column coming up, and there's the drop going down. And I wanted to build a tower around this, and I want this tower to pop up high enough, I don't know, in that 30 or 40 block range to be visible from spawn. You know, that's a good example, kind of Cirque's build there. Again, I hope I'm not giving anything away. But trying to create a little bit of space or a little bit of height with this area so that it's visible from other spots. So this will be the tallest tower, at least as this part of the build up. You know, who knows, there may be another one that ends up being taller, but and then there's a round one right here that'll be 3/4 of the height of this one or so, to create sort of this bookend of height. And then this building will probably be in the, I don't know, 4 to 5 floors. This will be 2 to 3 floors with a porch or a portico space, kind of, not portico, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe that's what it is, that connects those two things together. And then this will be the building I'm going to work on today along with this one, that will be in that 3 to 4 story range. And I have an idea of what this building is going to be, but I'm going to wait and think about it a little bit more and make sure it's what I want to do with it. But the first thing I need to do is take these blocks and create the height and the shape of all these buildings, at least conceptually, so I get a sense of what the scale is, and to make sure the courtyard is the right spot. We talk a little bit about materials, but first I want to get these shapes built. So I'm going to do that through a time lapse, and then we're going to come back and maybe fill out some of this building with some detail to start thinking about what the rest of these buildings are going to look like. I'm going to play a little bit with height on some of these things as well. And so we'll come back and do that together once I kind of get the mass of the buildings figured out. So let's do that through a quick time lapse, and then we're going to come right back. Hopefully I won't die again. Maybe. Alright, that wasn't a particularly interesting time-lapse in terms of content per se, but I think it was really important to show you at the very beginning kind of how I think about the structure of these buildings. And I mentioned a little bit about massing earlier, and one of the things I really want to point out about that is I think that's an important part of architectural design, and particularly buildings that fit into other environments. You think about the scale of those buildings and how they compare against other buildings and the spaces on the grounds, you know, both from kind of eye level and also from kind of an aerial level from other buildings that are nearby, things like that. So I find it's an important part of my process in Minecraft too, is to think about the mass of things next to one another and make sure that they're the right height and whatnot. So I've already made a few changes from that time lapse. One of the things I did was this building was a little bit too square, and it lined up too much kind of with this side of what's going to be our kind of clock tower-y thing over the Skellie spawner. And so what I did is I kind of brought one part of the building out that's only going to be one story and brought it out a little bit further, and then pushed a wall back so it kind of created a little bit more interesting space. See, there's a little bit of a zigzag in here, and I think that's a real important element to creating, you know, kind of nice spaces within Minecraft, is making sure you don't have super straight lines that line up with everything. See how this one kind of comes in a little bit? We got a tight space that comes into a larger open space, but it doesn't line up with the face of that building. The face of this one doesn't really quite line up with that one. They're off just a little bit. And I think that helps create a little bit of interest as opposed to having things that are lined up all the way through and through. This building, you know, I've started doing a little bit of decorating on the lower parts here just to try to get a sense of what I think the kind of the details are going to be like on the other buildings. Like, I really like the character of this a little bit. I'm not sure about that yet. I wanted something kind of over this opening so it didn't feel like there was an opening going through, and I'll have you know, kind of green growing things growing up over it to give it that kind of lush feeling. And this tower I don't think is tall enough. Let me go back here a little bit so I can get a better look, and I'll tell you why I think that. Let's just get right over here. Hey, horsies. So as you're kind of coming up to it, I wanted this tower to feel like the tallest building in there. And so even with perspective, sometimes you can end up creating shapes that don't do what you intended it to do. So, you know, with this tower being about this tall, a little bit taller than this building, I got to clean some of this up. I also notched this one out a little bit lower, so I have a lower 1-story on this side that goes up to 3 stories, and so I'll have like a little porch or a patio out there that's looking over the ocean. But with those shapes, you know, this is pretty good. It creates a little bit of a shape here, but I think this needs to be a little bit taller. So I'm probably going to add, I don't know, 4 to 5 blocks or something to the top of that. Is there a Skellie down there that's coming for me? Where are you, buddy? Let's just ignore it. So yeah, that's, you know, you get a sense of some of these elements I'm going to be putting in here. These are kind of cool little columns I came up with. I think on this side of the building I'm going to have a little bit of a porch and a patio coming over it, and then we'll have this little deck space that's coming out. Before we start adding in, I'm probably going to fill into this side as I start, rather than going that way, as we start kind of expanding, but I don't know yet. This is another thing too. I was going to do these corner columns with spruce going all the way up, and I did this column over here that way, on this corner, and it just looked way too massive and chunky, so what I did is I dialed it back and decided to use sandstone, and then put something on the corner that does what I wanted to do with that one, which is kind of make it feel like these corners bump out a little bit. I'm not sure quite still if I like that or not. I like it more than I did with the spruce logs, but it still needs a little bit of work, I think. The other thing I think I decided on this building is that it is a little bit too massive. It's just from a sheer scale standpoint. If I filled this in completely, it would feel like a really massive building, especially right here on the edge of the dock. If we filled a couple more buildings in here that were maybe 2 or 3 stories, it probably would be fine. But one of the things I think I'm going to do, rather than cutting this building down, because I started looking at doing the same thing I did with this building, and having just one part of it that's full height, and then bringing it down, and having another part that's lower. It didn't quite feel right. I did it as a quick experiment, and I didn't like it. So I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to, rather than fill the walls in all the way to the edge, this side I'm going to punch back in 3 to 4 blocks and create balcony spaces in here. But it's kind of hard to imagine, but I think that's going to help a lot, because from the sides it'll be able to see through the building versus having it be a solid wall. So I think that's going to help on that one a lot. But yeah, I think this is probably going to take me a couple episodes to complete all of these buildings. But I think for the rest of this one, I'm going to focus on the tower. I'm going to raise it up a little bit, fill in all the walls, start adding in some detail, and try and get at least this tower finished for this episode. But let's do that maybe as a quick time lapse. I think we're getting pretty close to about 15 minutes on this episode, so that probably would be perfect timing. So enjoy the time lapse, and then we'll come back, see how it looks when it's more or less complete, and then we'll be done. So enjoy. Well, there it is, not too bad, I don't think. Maybe a hair on the busy side. I'm not quite sure yet, but I do think I'm going to leave it more or less like that until I get some of the other stuff done. I think that is going to make me tend towards making this maybe a little bit more simple than busy. That'll help kind of keep this as a central focus in the town versus focusing on everything or having everything be so busy at the same time. I also think I'm not going to do this on all four sides. I'm going to do it on this side and the others, or the other side, I should say. And then on the north and the south side, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Probably keep it actually pretty solid for the most part. I'll break it up a little bit with probably some indentations, but I'm not going to cut out holes quite like this. Like I've done on this one. I guess it's going to get dark. That's all right. We're pretty well lit up, I think, at this point. Let's see here. Need to clean up some of the mess that is under here. Let's get this out of the way. I need to go up and clean a bunch of that stuff up there. But let's do this really quick. I'm going to set center. Like right. That center there. We'll put a light right. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Only I could do that. Let's do that. Did it bring it all the way? No? Okay, good. Only I could somehow manage to put that in the wrong spot. There we go. All right. Now let's get these guys down right like that. Bingo. Bingo bango. And that should work really well. I think the last thing I want to do is put a little bit of spruce leaves on here. Let's start on this side, actually. I've got a little bit of spot over here where I can kind of bring it up. Doot, doot. Can I get it? Can I get it? There we go. Like that. And then over, down, kind of like that. Maybe I'll actually get rid of these and let it just kind of hang there like that. We'll get some vines and stuff on there, and then this will actually grow up and over the top of this porch when we get that on there. That'll look pretty good. And then I need to go up a lot higher. Do I actually have... Yeah, we got ender pearls. Let's get up here. Hopefully we won't die. And let's take this up a little ways, wrap it around the edge like this. Have it go up a little higher. Something like that. Put it up in there. I gotta connect somehow, and then we can get some on this side a little bit like that. Yeah, there we go. Higher up there. That should work. Let's hope that doesn't look a little bit too busy or a little too weird. No, that looks pretty good. So I think I am gonna have to do something down there to ground it like that. Yeah, that'll work. And then I can maybe I'll put a little planter or something here instead of the way this looks. So I'll take these blocks out and then put a little planter there like it's growing out of something. Yeah, that'll look a little bit better. And then I can narrow this walkway up, and yeah, I'll do that off camera. I'll go ahead and finish up the rest of this building while I'm at it. And yeah, I think I'll be pretty happy with the way this turned out. And then we'll work on this building a little bit, probably as well. And maybe we'll start off the next episode. I'll show you what's going on below the bottom of this floor here. You can kind of hear those water sounds. Got a little redstone. That's pretty useful. We'll work on this deck a little bit. I think we got some stuff that's underneath it, and maybe just some of these other buildings. Get the town going on. I'm looking forward to seeing this area a little bit more complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You got something useful out of it. If you did, leave a like, maybe even subscribe if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.